Hey agents, Justin Udy here. Hey, have you ever thought when you're listing and selling a property, what should I be focusing my energy on? I know oftentimes it's like, what should I invest in money, time? How should I change things? Well, today we're going to talk about it. And I will tell you, in listing single family residential homes, kind of like one we're in, I think we've listed and sold over 800 homes in my career. And I will tell you, there's really three things that I found. Now, when you're listing and talking to a client, there's things that you're going to want to present your marketing and do those things. But when you actually have the physical listing, if you are the agent that says, if I throw it up on the MLS, that's my marketing, I beg of you to please listen to this video, because there's things that you can do to take it to the next step, to market it better, to maximize value. Because there's really three things that I want you to consider. When you have a listing, my recommendation is that number one is you're creating visual appeal. Two, you're creating an emotional connection. And three, you are maximizing the price. So let's just quickly talk about those three things. So if we have our property, how do we essentially make sure we're improving the visual appeal of the property? Well, there's a couple things you can do. You can provide a checklist to that listing and those clients to let them know, hey, this is what I need you to do to prep this home. After you prep that home, you can bring in professionals. On this property that we're listing that's going live on the market today, we decided to stage the physical property for them. That is the money that we decided that we are going to invest in this home to stage it for the client. And by doing that, it takes us kind of to a different realm of how it functionally feels, and to the next point of bringing kind of an emotional connection to the property. Because if I walk into a home and it doesn't feel good, look good, smell good, most of the time as you've shown homes, you're like, your client's like, this is nasty, and they're walking away. So unless we're giving instructions of how a property should look and feel, and giving instructions of like, these are best practices for when people come over, typically people just don't know. They're just living in the property. This one, in creating an emotional connection, we obviously staged it for that reason, but we also want to make sure when they're coming in, it feels fantastic. Now, these folks happen to move, and I know not everybody moves, but what you can do is help people know what to do, what to declutter, what colors to use, what items that they should have physically in the property so that it feels good to that person that is walking through the door. And frankly, folks, there's three people we have to convince every time we sell a home. We have to convince the buyer, we have to convince the agent, and we have to convince the appraiser. So folks, when we're preparing this, it's like we're not only trying to get a buyer in here, frankly, the agent, as you know, you are influencing those people, the offer they're gonna make, how much they like the property, because when it looks good and feels good, you can help them. So are you maybe giving handyman services that you can assist them with? Do you have contractors and laborers that maybe you could refer to them so that they could make things so that it doesn't feel like there's maintenance items that are kind of going to make people like, not like it? And that takes it essentially to the third item, which is maximizing price. The statistic is that more buyers are willing to pay more for a move-in ready home than a property that is not ready. And it makes sense because nobody wants to move into a dump unless they're getting a screamer deal. We know that. And I will tell you that if you think about the way that you are approaching anything in life, whether you're buying a car, you're buying a watch, you're buying a suit, whatever you're buying, you're looking for quality and you're willing to pay for quality, because the thing is you typically get what you pay for. So in maximizing the price, I would just say, if you have a listing and you're doing the things, you are going to help them maximize the price because you've created an emotional connection to the property. You've invested time, energy, and money to tweaking what that property should look like from the beginning, preparing them for market, assisting with recommendations. And as you assist with recommendations, that's going to give you the ability to not only have a better property, but a better listing, but frankly, you'll probably get the best offers in the beginning. Our time on market for our homes isn't because statistically they're less time than the average agent. I will tell you it's just because they're typically more prepared. It typically takes us about a month to prepare a home before it's going to go on the market, because we want to make sure we're getting them in line. So my recommendation is just make sure you have a plan of action. When you have a listing, what are you going to provide the client? What services can you render to them? What recommendations can you bring? And again, these don't all have to come from you. If you're a brand new agent or a seasoned agent, and you're like, I seriously have no clue, I've only worked with buyers, that's okay. Bring in people. One of my favorite deals that I ever did is I had an investor on a property, and I called a guy that was a professional investor that flipped over 100 homes homes. They said, hey, I'm gonna pay you $500. I want you to walk through this property with me and my client and give us a checklist. That was the best $500 I ever spent. Number one, that was my journey of beginning to buy and sell and properties obviously on my own. And number two was that client was so impressed when I'm able to say, hey, look, I brought somebody that flips over 100 homes. Let me just have them walk through with us and give their recommendations. And I will tell you, obviously, it made an immediate change. So I guess I'm just saying, invest in people. You don't have to have all the knowledge, but sometimes you have to invest in the people that will provide the knowledge. Stagers are fantastic. You can even have photographers, videographers, contractors, handymen, give recommendations that are gonna make things look amazing. You can even just talk to a designer, go through the house and take a video and send it to him and say, hey, I need your best recommendation. So I hope these little teeny tiny things may help you as you're preparing a home for the market, because sometimes if it just comes from you, they disregard it. When it comes from a third-party professional, they take it serious. Because maybe you're not a designer, but you're an awesome marketer. Or maybe you're a designer, but you're not very good at marketing. So bring in those services to help yourself. Anyway, hope this helps. Best of luck and hope to talk to you soon.